Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning. I'm going to continue the story that I was telling last episode. And so we're just going to call this chapter 2, subtitle, The 911 Story. So, first of all, did any of you still have like Christmas or winter things up, even though it's spring? Well, let me tell you, in Wisconsin, it just snowed this morning, and yes, it is May 1st. So, some people are like, you need to take down that snowman stuff because you're bringing it on, superstitious. And I kind of feel like, well, as soon as it starts to look like spring outside, I'll move the stuff, I can switch out that picture for some portraits. So, but anyway, it's just a thing. It was just like, my gosh, it's May 1st. And I don't know. It doesn't usually snow like in May that often, but it is what it is. So we've had a very mild winter, actually. We haven't had much snow now, nor much rain. And so I'm really curious to see what this season's going to be like. I feel like we're going to have, it wasn't very cold either. So I think we're going to have mosquitoes, a lot of mosquitoes. Gosh, I hope not, because I can't, they're so attracted to me. It's like, I go crazy with mosquito bites. So at any rate, so last time I kind of gave you an overview of what happened to me. And so we're going to go more into detail this time, this chapter. Sorry, my puppy wants to get under the blanket with me. It was a Saturday in February of 2022. And I did my usual thing, as I mentioned before about my drinking. I got up in the morning and I drank until I could feel it. Then I laid down on the couch and I thought I was just going to sleep. Well, I woke up surrounded by emergency medical service workers. Apparently, my son had tried to wake me up and I couldn't wake up. And he was very scared. And my husband was on call that week, so he wasn't around. And my son didn't know what to do, so that's what he did. He called 911. And they moved me from the couch into the bedroom, started speaking to me. They took my vitals and all that, and everything looked good on my vitals, so that was a relief. I'm not really sure how I woke up. I don't know if they used smelling salts or something, but I woke up and they asked me a bunch of questions, like what my name was, what my birthday was, and who the president was. Now, I don't usually get very political, but I must have been really irritated because I said it's that effing a-hole Joe Biden when they asked. So obviously I had clarity at that point. So my son made the mistake of calling my daughter. Well, I refused to go to the hospital because it was like I felt totally fine when I woke up. So I didn't really see a need and my vitals were good. So I just refused transport. My son made the mistake of calling my daughter and telling her what had happened. And as you know, I mentioned last time that we were estranged. And we hadn't spoken in, I think it was been almost a year. Because, well, once we found out that she was hanging around with her grandparents still and trying to like put a wedge between us and our son and things like that, we just kind of called that off. So we hadn't spoken a year. And on the phone, we had communicated via email a couple of times. Not positive things, but just very negative. And she proceeded to tell me that I needed to go to the doctor and that, she was pregnant and she wanted me to be around for the grandchild, and went on and on and on about all this stuff. Well, that whole day I spent telling my son and my husband, I'm not going to the doctor until I'm sober. And again, I wanted to quit. I didn't want to keep drinking like this. I knew it was bad for me and I didn't want to continue. I just said I need help to do that. And once that's all cleared away and I'm not on it anymore, then I'll go to the doctor. So, you know, it was a constant fight almost all of last year about that. So, at any rate, my husband decided to take 2 weeks off of work. And at the level I was drinking, it would have been physically dangerous for me to quit. And I had jaundice eyes and bruising, looked like bruising on my face, and things like that, you know. But I knew from reading, even previously when I was trying to quit, that without the alcohol, those things would probably dissipate, which they did. But getting off the liquor was more difficult than I suspected it would be. And so my husband took those 2 weeks off, and gradually he weaned me to a point where I was just down to 3 shots a day before he went back to work. 3 or 4, I'm not sure. Or before it had been much more than that. But that came with vomiting, lack of appetite, inability to have any energy, didn't want to move. I'd sleep, but not for very long. And I mean, I was going through withdrawal. I mean, that's what it came down to. So I think about 5 days into the weaning, I actually got hungry for something specific to eat, and they made it for me. So, because it's the first time they'd really seen me eat, because, well, I was throwing up quite frequently. And I just didn't, I mean, I'm sorry, but I didn't want to throw up food, you know? And so I had a puke bucket by me the whole time, and there's a lot of that time I just don't remember, you know? It just got to be insane. So the month of February was pretty much a blur. I do know that we traded in a vehicle and 2 vehicles and went down to 1, just because it was obvious I wasn't going to be able to work for quite some time, and to reduce our expenses and such. So we did that. But yeah, it was, there were days where I would beg my husband, can I please have a drink now? And he's like, no, you can wait till 4 o'clock, you know, and he just wouldn't give in. And I didn't really get mad at him. It just made me cry, you know. And I knew what he was doing was for my own good, because, again, I wanted to quit. So I just toughed it out. And, you know, he would come home from work when he went back to work to check on me and make sure I was doing okay. Now, at this time, I was experiencing some really weird symptoms, like I couldn't get out of bed or get off the sofa by myself. Like I needed somebody to physically help me get off of those things. And that's when like some bloating started. And I wasn't really sure what that was all about, but I did read that that is something that happens when you quit. Excuse me. So, just getting some water. The bloating started then, and my husband made some comments about that, and I bought a compression wrap and was wearing that, just, hoping that it was just fluid. And I had read that a compression wrap takes the place of elevation, and it's really hard for you to elevate your belly, So I just was using that. And I mean, it was just crazy how I couldn't move. It was bizarre. So I'd have to wake my husband up in the morning, in the middle of the night, like, can you come and help me up, And then in terms of like getting up, I always had to sit on one of our table stools so that I was up, it was easier for me to get up while he was working and things like that. So, and then gradually we worked down to 2 shots a day, and then 1 eventually. And then I just thought in my head, I'm done. I don't like the way it tastes. I never really did, but I like the effects of it, but I didn't like the way it tasted, and I didn't want to continue on with it. So on March 20th of 2022, I said, I don't want any more of this. So don't pour me anymore, and he was keeping all the liquor bottles outside somewhere hidden that I had no idea where that was. Which I wasn't going to sneak it anyway because I wanted to quit. So, but I understand why he did. And I mean, apparently he moved all the cough medicines out and stuff and mouthwash and things. It's like, I would never drink that, But at any rate, so March 20th. So it's been over a year. I'm really happy to have some clarity of mind a year later, be able to think rationally about things and, deal with the things I wasn't before that I was drinking away instead. So it was good. It was good that way. And I had a beautiful family. My son and my husband are fantastic guys. And I love them. I love spending time with them. I want to be with them, It's just the overwhelming grief was just too much. And in a quiet way, I guess I was trying to commit suicide by drinking. But that's not today. Today I have a lot more hope. I have tons of encouragement, which they always did, but now they're really, encouraging me. Especially since I got my diagnosis and such, and they're big believers in trying what we can to, avoid unnecessary procedures and stuff like that. So I've got a great team behind me, and I've got good siblings. My sister, who is actually my sister-in-law, and my brother are very good, so I can talk to them anytime. And I love my sister-in-law like a sister. She's like the first sister I've ever had. And it's beautiful. We're so there for each other, and we love each other, and it's fantastic. My brother's got a young family, so he's busy with a lot of things. But he, will still check in on me and stuff like that. So at any rate, it's good to be a year outside of that. So I'm not sure what day it'll be this week, but I will put chapter 3 out soon. So until then, everybody be well, be blessed, know you're taken care of, and thank you for joining me on this journey. God bless you all. Bye now.